So get your notebooks, get your pens, let's get to work. Today's topic is discipline, the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Is discipline the bridge between who you are and who you want to be? And what is a discipline? Discipline is doing what you must, not what you feel. Let me say this again. Discipline is doing what you must, not what you feel. And that's point number one. Why? Because feelings change, but discipline remains. Let me say that one more time. Feelings change, discipline remains. In December 31st or January 1st, there will be a lot of people at the gym. I guarantee you that. Why? Because people want to wait at the end of the year or at a certain date to write down their goals of what they're going to do. But the truth is, you don't have to wait for December 31st. You don't have to wait for January 1st. You don't have to wait for any date in specific. It's a choice you make based on what you want. Choices are made based on the outcome we want. And this, why? Because it says feelings change, discipline remains. You see, January 1st, people will sign up for the gym. Why? Because they want to become healthier. Because they want to become a better person. For whatever reasons, they're going to do that. But do you know by January 15th, almost half of the people that signed up for the gym do not show up at the gym? By the end of January, early February, most of the people who signed up out of the feelings and motivation and are not going to be there. And we will see them again in 2027. Why? Because feelings change. Feelings change. You're going to have to decide that am I going to do this? Because when they say discipline remains, discipline comes from you telling yourself to do something no matter how you feel. It's you telling yourself, we signed up for the gym because we want to be healthier. We signed up for the gym because we want to have self-respect. We signed up for the gym because we want to look good. Whatever reason why you signed up, you have to tell yourself that all year long, every single day. When it rains, when your car pops, when your car tire pops, you have to tell yourself, I'll find my way to go to the gym. Because if you are doing things out of motivation, if you're doing things out of feelings, I feel like I want to join the gym. I feel like I don't want to eat the cookie today. I feel like tomorrow things will change. Your feelings will change. So I'm saying that because the ones who want to join the gym in January, do it because you're sick and tired of saying something and not doing it. Do it because you're sick and tired of in and out, in and out, in and out. Because you can't build a great life on emotion. Let me say that one more time. You cannot build a great life out of emotion. You cannot have a feelings-driven life. You cannot become a person who changes every single second because feelings come and go. You get to decide what kind of a person you are. You get to decide to set the value on your life more higher than your feelings. Because not every single day I go to the gym. I started going to the gym in 2016. Sometimes when I first started going to the gym, I was shaky because it was new to me. So my body was sore. I didn't know much about nutrition. So I wasn't gaining, energy by eating the right food. So I was weak at the gym. Sometimes I want to go. Sometimes I don't want to go. But I stuck it through, and sticking it through all year long, I got to know more about myself. I got to know more about nutrition. I got to know more about training. And now this is what I do. If I don't go to the gym, I don't like it. To me, it's like a therapy. It's a place I go to think. So for you you have to ask yourself, what kind of great life do you want to build? What kind of life do you want to build? Because you cannot build it out of emotion. You cannot build it out of today you want to, tomorrow you don't want to, the next day you don't want to, and the next day you want to. Nobody ever make it to the Champions League just feelings driven. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant never made it to the championship because they felt like it. Those guys showed up, come hell, come high water. We're going to train. We're going to stay up at night. We're going to shoot. We're going to stay up at night. We're going to learn something new. We're going to stay up at night. We're going to learn something new. Every single day, all year long. And I remember Kobe saying, when everybody was chilling on off season, he was working. When everybody was chilling after they win the game, he was working. Same thing as Michael Jordan. That's why we call them the greatest of all time. Not because they wanted to do things out of emotion. They had discipline. They know what they wanted. They know what they value. And if you're going to value a great life, you cannot build it out of emotion. Because emotions comes and goes. But discipline remains. Discipline is saying, I'm going to do this no matter what. That's what discipline is. Emotion is, I don't feel like it. I don't want to do it. Not today. Not this, not that. And then you find yourself 10 years later, never had accomplished anything great with your life. Because discipline is an anchor of destiny. It's an anchor of destiny. It's an anchor of destiny. If you have no discipline, you are going nowhere. If you have no discipline, you will write down goals and you will never follow through. If you have no discipline, you can dream all you want. You can have great goals, you can have a great ambition, but you don't have the discipline to follow through with the daily task that you have. You are going nowhere. So I want to encourage you. Discipline is your friend. You have to have discipline in your marriage. You have to have discipline in your friendship. You have to have discipline in business. You have to have discipline in your diet. You have to have discipline in exercising. Discipline is a part of your life if you want to accomplish greatness. Greatness comes from saying, I'm going to do this. No matter what happens, I am going to do this. And I hope you are paying attention, because at the end of the day, remember one thing. You get to decide what kind of a life you want. Because motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you moving long after the excitement dies. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you moving long after excitement dies. Motivation is, we're going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and then it dies, and then it dies, and then it dies. And then you have discipline that says, we are going to do this no matter what. We are going to stay on track no matter what. So I want to encourage you. Tell yourself, I'm not going to be giving up 2026. I am not going to be talking a lot of talk without doing what I need to do. Tell yourself that. And point number 2 is discipline is the highest form of self-respect. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. Why? Because discipline says, I care about my future. If you have zero self-respect, you're going to do whatever you want. You have no ambition. And if you do, you don't follow through. So discipline requires you to say, I care about my future. I care about my finances. I care about my marriage. I care about my kids. I care about my health. I care about my business. I care. And that requires you not to just talk about it, but it requires you to follow through with the right values to make sure that everything you're saying, you're not just saying with your mouth, you're following it with your actions. Because nowadays people talk. But when it's time to walk, they don't do that. They don't do it. If you care about your future, you will act different. You will talk different. You will dress different. You decide to save more than you spend. You decide to make sure that you are showing up in your marriage, or you're just playing around. You decide that I'm going to do this no matter what it takes because my future is more important than my feelings. Because if you don't, you find yourself 10 years, 20 years later talking about the same thing, doing the same thing, not have moved, not have improved an inch. So discipline says I care about my future, but not with my mouth, but I do care with my actions and watch me. Because it proves your value, your purpose. Disciplined people value their purpose. Nobody ever wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning if they don't value why they wake up at that time. Where everybody else is pulling their blankets, the person who wakes up at 4 o'clock because they had or they have something they have to accomplish, those people value the purpose. They value their purpose. They value what they say they were going to do. They value why they're here. So my point here is, if you don't have discipline, don't talk to me that you want to follow through with your purpose. If you don't have discipline, you're going to have a miserable life. I'm miserable. You're going nowhere. So I want you to know that 2026 is going to be different if 2025 you learned from your failures, you learned from your setbacks, and you're going to say a setback is only what? A setup for a comeback. A setback is only a setup for a comeback. And the people who are going to come back in 2026 are the people who value their future, people who value their purpose, people who value their time, people who value their marriages, people who value their families, people who value their finances, people who value their health. What do you value? And what are you going to do different in 2026 than you did in 2025? Because discipline, it protects from discipline protects you from self-destruction. Discipline protects you from self-destruction. I say this all the time. I can eat certain food if I wanted to. I can eat whatever I want. But there's some things I made up in my mind. I don't touch them because those meals are not nutritious to my body. And it's just a fact. They look good, they taste good, but they're no longer nutritious to my body. And since I told God that I want to live long, since I told God I would like my life to come an end at 101, I don't know why I picked that number, but that's what I wanted, and that's what I want. I have to eat right. I have to exercise. I have to be careful about my stress levels. I have to be careful the people I surround myself with. I have to be careful what I eat, what I drink. I have to be careful about my sleep, which I need to do a better job because I sleep less. I need to do a better job of sleeping the right amount. So, discipline, how does it protect you from self-destruction? When you cut off the things that you know will come back and bite you. When you cut off the wrong crowd. When you cut off the wrong habits. When you cut off everything that you know is against your values. The people who keep ending up in the wrong place with the wrong people doing the wrong thing, they have not learned to say no. They have not learned to say no to their feelings. They have not learned to say no to the wrong company. They have not learned to say no. And that tells me that they do not value their future. They do not value themselves. Because if you value yourself and you value your future, you will know that certain things I will no longer do because they're self-destructive. And you don't need a rocket science. You don't need somebody to come and talk to you. You don't need to read a book. Some things are common sense. I'm not going to do this because it's going to do this. Why would you go hang out in a place that you know very well you can get shot? Why would you go hang out with the wrong company, know very well they have drugs? Why? That tells me you don't value your future. That tells me you don't value yourself. That tells me you don't value your purpose. Because if you did, you separate yourself from certain people. So as we are coming to the end of 2026, let us ask yourself this. What am I doing that is no longer serving me? What am I doing that is no longer serving my life? What am I doing that continues to bring pain to myself? What am I doing that I need to change? Not because for anybody else, but I need to change for me. What am I doing? Because if you don't answer that question, you'll find yourself December 22nd, 2026 in the same place, doing the same thing with the same people. And your gym membership will be trash because you're going to get yourself in a contract you're paying and never go. You'll find yourself still couple pounds overweight. You find yourself with the wrong people. You find yourself drinking and partying. You find yourself doing whatever because you did not take serious when somebody tells you that discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. So as we cross over to 2026 by God's grace, let's remember one thing. Discipline is a bridge from who we are, from who we want to be. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build a version of you and the old you could only dream of being. Let me say that one more time. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build a version of you the old you could only dream of being. I'm a true testament of that. I'm a true testament of that. I decided when I was 23, I'm going to change my life. I'm no longer going to hang out with these people. I'm no longer going to go to that place. I'm no longer going to do this. It was hard. But I wanted to find out who is the real Ebby. Who is this guy? Away from my homies, away from my friends, away from all these people. Who is the real Ebby? And I found out. And once I found out, those friends of mine that I had at that time, they don't like me no more. They didn't like me no more. Why? Because I was no longer engaging in self-destructive behavior. So they didn't like me, not because they hated me, but we had nothing in common no. And some of you are hanging out with people, you have nothing in common. And you keep holding on to people that will only bring you distraction. So let me say this. Every time you promise to yourself, you build a version only the old you could only dream being. Let's do that in 2026. Let's do that in 2026. Number 3, discipline makes you unstoppable because it removes hesitation. Discipline makes you unstoppable. Why? Because it removes hesitation. You know what hesitation is? Double guessing. Not really trusting in your decision. Not really trusting, is this the right thing to do? You hesitate. And that's why we say this all the time. I remember when I learned about the 5-second rule, which is count from 5 to 0 and get it. I was deadlifting, and this was some pretty heavy weight. And I started saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. You know what it is? I used to hesitate so much that when I found out about the 5-second rule and I started using it, at some point I stopped using it and I started making decisions. Yeah, we're lifting this. 1, 2, 3, go. It's kind of the same, but making up my mind, I'm not going to hesitate. So what does discipline do? It makes you unstoppable because you do not hesitate. When it's time to follow through, you follow through. When it's time to do things that's what you said you're going to do, you do it. You do it because it builds momentum. Guys, let me go back to the gym example. Once you sign up for the gym, the first week will be kind of exciting. The second week, second day, you'll be like, it's not for me. Your body's starting to break down. You're starting to feel pain. You feel like you don't want to go no more. You have no motivation. But it's the guys who make it through. Because discipline will say, okay, how about this? Instead of taking a rest day from not going to the gym at all, how about we just go to the gym and walk today? How about we just walk? Okay. How about tomorrow, instead of staying home, how about we go to the gym and just stretch? Before you know it, Monday comes. Okay, guys. Okay, now we're going back to the gym. Why? Because you have to lift. And on and on and on. And you find yourself 1 month, 2 months, 5 months, 6 months, a year. And this becomes who you are. You're a person that values their health. You're a person that values the way you show up. You value you. And it shows up when you start doing things little by little. 1,000 steps started with 1 step, guys. 1 step. And for you to get to 1,000 steps, you have to walk 1,000 steps. But it starts with 1 step. But if you start with 1 step and then make it to 30 steps and never make it to 1,000, what was it for? You shouldn't have just started anyway. You could have just stayed home. But once you start saying, I hurt today, my body feels like this today, but I'm going to show up tomorrow. I'm probably going to do something less, or I'm going to just relax. I'm going to do some stretching. I'm going to just walk on the treadmill. Before you know it, guys, you're building momentum. You're building momentum because it trains your mind to follow through. You become unstoppable because discipline trains your mind to follow through. Have you ever seen somebody who talks and never walks? Have you ever seen someone who just chop, 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 chop? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, ta, 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 ta. But they never follow through with what they say they're going to do. You don't want to be around that person. When that person talks, you just shake your head like, yeah, whatever. Because they have proved that they can no longer be trusted because they do not follow through. You know why? Because they lack discipline. Discipline makes you unstoppable because you start becoming a person who follows through, guys. And for you to become a person of value in 2026, you have to be able to follow through with everything you say you are going to do. Everything you say you're going to do. Your mind is strong. Your mind is very, very strong. Why? Because you start training your mind to do something. I believe they say it takes 21 days to build a new habit. And guess what? You start becoming a person who follows through. Because success isn't random. It's a reward of small repeated commitments towards claps for. Success isn't random. It's the reward of small repeated commitments nobody claps for. When you say you're going to lose 30 pounds next year, you can't just say the first month you're going to lose 10 pounds. Too fast. Set a small goal. Say I'm going to lose 30 pounds, but I'm going to give myself at least 30 weeks. Start losing 1 pound a week. 1 pound a week. And then you're going to find yourself second, another pound. Third week, another pound. Fourth week, another pound. It might seem like nothing, but let me tell you something. If you set this big goal that requires a lot of energy, a lot of discipline, and you're not that person yet, you're not going to accomplish it. Because if you say you're going to lose 10 pounds every week and you don't even get close to 1.2 pounds, you're going to lose. You're going to walk away. You're going to say it doesn't work. But if you lose 1 pound, which is very easy to lose 1 pound a week, because part of it is not even the gym. Most part of the dieting comes from the food. What are you putting in your mouth? And if you start subtracting what we're putting in our mouth or changing what we're putting in our mouth, we're going to get those calories down and we're going to get closer to our goal as fast and as quicker. We say that our body is filled up at home. We go to the gym just to sharpen it. We just go to the gym to condition it. So let me go back to that. You say you're going to lose 30 pounds. You're going to lose 30 pounds in 30 weeks. You're going to lose 1 pound a week for the next 30 weeks. You know what's going to happen, guys? By the 4th week, you're going to start losing more pounds. More pounds. Because now you're more disciplined. You're doing things a little bit more better. You're working out a little bit harder. You're dieting a little bit better. It wouldn't even take 30 weeks. But you have to start with small goals. Small goals towards the big goal. Don't set the big goal in the front, then can't even get a quarter to it, and then lose because now you're crying and it didn't work out, it doesn't work out. You see, I told you, set small goals, small steps towards a big comeback. Small steps towards a big comeback. And point number 4, discipline turns ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. Discipline turns ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. Why? Because leadership is built in private, not in public. Leadership is built in private, not in public. Leadership is a mindset of leading, but now leading yourself. Before you go lead other people, before you go tell other people to trust you, to follow you with a vision that you have. Because leaders, their job is to make sure that everybody that is following them understands their vision or their vision. So before you go in public, leadership is built in private. Why? Because you become a person that can be trusted. By who? You first. If you can't trust yourself, why do you expect other people to trust you? Why do you expect other people to trust your leadership? So it starts in private. It starts in private by telling yourself, I'm going to do this, and you do it. It's you telling yourself, today we are going there, and we go. It's telling yourself, I'm going to write down notes today, and you write them. So by the time you're pulling up in public, you're not just a talker, but you're a doer. The Bible says, do not just be a hearer, but a doer of the word. So just don't be this person that thinks, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then you want to tell people what you're going to do, but yet you can't even tell yourself what to do and actually do it. Because it says discipline turns ordinary people, me and you, into extraordinary people. Because we do things and we follow through and we pull up and we show up in private before we do it in public. Because the private discipline creates public excellence. Private discipline creates public excellence. I give you examples, athletes. An athlete knows that for me to become the best in my field, I have to wake up at this time, I have to eat this, I have to act like this, I have to train like this, and I have to do this. They do that in private. They do that in private. So by the time they are in public, by the time they show up in the game, in the arena, this guy can do this shot with his eyes closed. With his eyes closed. Why? Because what he's doing in private now gets to be clapped for in public. And that's what we call public excellence. But public excellence is a result of private work ethic, private discipline, private understanding that I'm going to do this no matter what. So that when we are clapping for these people who are showing up and showing us public success, just remember one thing. They are doing things behind closed doors that we don't get to see. And the reason why they inspire us is not because they're the greatest of all time. It's because they're extraordinary people who did extra things behind closed doors that some people refuse to do. So let's remember one thing. Extraordinary person there's a difference between an extraordinary person and an ordinary person. And the only difference is that extra. That extra. So let's remember that we are doing this so that we can become extraordinary leaders. Discipline makes you reliable, and reliability elevates you. Guys, never expect to become anything great in your life if you're not reliable. Never expect to do great things in life if you're not reliable. And you cannot be reliable if you don't have discipline. If people cannot trust you, if people cannot trust you, the fact that you said you're going to do this and you're going to actually do it, because they have seen a track record of just you just being a talker and not a doer, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. So my thing is this: become a person who's reliable. Become a person who's reliable at work. Become a person who's reliable in your marriage. Become a person who's reliable in the field. Become a person who's reliable to themselves. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the truth and say, man, I don't like the person I've become. I'm not even reliable. I can't even rely on myself. How? Because every time I say I'm going to do something, I don't follow through. Because do not expect to be elevated to public success if you're not having private discipline. Because people don't follow talent, they follow consistency. People do not follow talent, they follow consistency. Consistency is doing the same thing, the same way, over and over and over. Doing the same thing, the same way, over and over and over. Consistency is saying, we're going to do this, and we do it. Consistency is saying, I'm going to upload a video, and I upload it. Consistency is saying, no matter what happens, I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. That's what consistency is. And people do not follow talent, my friends. They follow consistency. Point number 5, which is our last point. Point number 5 is discipline protects your purpose from distraction. Discipline protects your purpose from distractions. Why? Because you can't chase destiny and entertainment at the same time. You cannot chase destiny and entertainment at the same time. My question to you is this: what is distracting you? What was your biggest distraction in 2025 that you're willing to put it away in 2026? What is your distraction that is making you not accomplish what God has called you to accomplish? What is the distraction that keeps? Is it social media? Is it women? Is it men? Is it lust? Is it fight? What is a distraction? Because you can't chase destiny and entertainment at the same time. And social media does a very good job by distracting. Doom scrolling. You're just going on and 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 on. And you don't realize that the most valuable thing you have, my friends, let me tell you something. The most valuable thing you have in this world is time. Time is the most valuable currency you have. And when distractions are your priority, forget about your destiny. You're going to get to an age whereby it's no longer worth it. If you play around in high school, if you play around in middle school, if you play around in college, your NFL career is gone. So if you're trying to go to the NFL, put the phone down. Put the phone down. Separate yourself from the wrong company. Get the right mentorship. Get in the field. Start practicing. Because there's going to come a time you run out of time. And social media will still be there, brothers. Still will be there. And if you're out there and you're looking at yourself every single day and saying, you know what? Every single day I talk about I'm going to do this and I never get to do it. This is your time. This is your time. You still have time. As long as you're living, you still have time. The people who do not have time are the people who are 6 feet under. So let's change entertainment for mentorship. Let's change entertainment for self-development. Let's change entertainment for the right type of content so that we can accomplish and get to the destiny that God has for us. Because distraction delays destiny. You can talk all you want, you can say whatever you want, but life is life. And if you're distracted, your destiny is far. Your destiny is far. And most of it, you lose it. Because remember, we are working with time. We are working with time. Every day, there's 24 hours you've been given to do something with them. And if you decide you're not going to do something with it, then guess what? You are going to find yourself being distracted to accomplish your destiny. And that's why some people, we say this all the time, he just had great dreams and great ambition. He wanted to do this and he wanted to do that. But now it's too late. Go to the hospice. Go to the assistant living and ask them, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What is the purpose you thought God had for you? And you're going to hear them. You know, I should have, could have, would have. If I could go back, I would have. Don't be that person. Do not be that person. Get to your older age with joy that you got to do what God wanted you to do. Because function multiplies progress. Focus multiplies progress. Focus multiplies progress. Because your phone is stealing your calling, discipline is how you take it back. Your phone is stealing your calling, discipline is how you take it back. So 2026, guys, 2026, we get to do what God has called us to do. We're already at the end of 2025. So if you didn't accomplish what you wanted to accomplish, it's okay. Still have time. But do not waste it thinking that we're going to be here 2026, December 22nd, talking about the same thing and you didn't get to do what you know you're supposed to do. So put yourself in a position to win, guys. Put yourself in a position to win. That being said, my name is Ebi Kingori, and if you like this content, do not forget to like, do not forget to share, and of course, do not forget to subscribe. Merry Christmas.